On today's episode, we again explore the world of the horrific and the unknown, a world of torture and unusual deaths. Follow through to the end of the video to discover this world. Being home alone and vulnerable is always a known plot for scary movies, where you open the door and are led to your death by the intruder. But thankfully for this woman, she does the one thing heroes in horror movies don't do. She does not open the door.
Here's some of the scariest things that have been caught on camera. Part 5. On the evening of July 21st, 2021, a doorbell camera at a Los Angeles home captured one of the most disturbing scenes I've ever seen. At around 8 p.m., the young woman at the house was preparing dinner while waiting for her husband to return home from work. It was a very hot day, so she decided to open the window and let the evening breeze in. This caught the attention of a man on the sidewalk, and as he looked at the young woman, he decided to try and get a little closer.
I just rang your doorbell because I have a couple questions for you. Are you sure? Are you positive? Are you sure? I just have a couple questions for you.
He continuously repeats the same sentences as he rings the doorbell and knocks on the door, claiming to only have a few questions. The woman never responded to the man and claims she'd never seen him until that point. As he's walking away, her husband comes on the doorbell speaker asking who he is, and that's when he reveals his true intentions.
Are you sure?
Who are you?
Hey, I just had a couple questions. I just wanted to ask you about maybe Phil. I want to rape her and kill her because I have a knife and a gun. Yeah, and I'm going to knock on her door again.
Thankfully, none of his fantasies played out as he walked away for good. Soon after, he was arrested a few blocks away, and when asked for his name, he claimed to be the Holy Spirit. It was later found that his real name was Christopher Sums, and a background check found that he had an impressive job history and was actually a normal person not too long ago. What caused this rapid change in appearance and personality is unknown, but the footage captured that night will continue to haunt the internet.
It is often said that you don't truly know a person until the person's dying moment, and that seems to be true for the subject in this video. It makes you want to ask yourself the question, what am I going to reveal in my final moments?
What are some of the craziest things people have confessed to in their final moments? In this series, I'm sharing the wildest ones I could find. And I cover lots of true crime and spooky stuff on this page, so follow along. In 1867, the body of 18-year-old Christine Kett was found in her parents' kitchen. No one had any idea who had done it, but there were a few clues found by her, like the fact that it was her brother's pistol that was found next to her body. But then, the autopsy showed that Christine's wounds were not consistent with that kind of weapon. There were also these tracks found outside of the house and on the fence, making it look like it was someone who came from the outside in. But despite all that, this case went unsolved for 17 years, until someone confessed to doing it with their last breath. It turns out that her mother had lost her mind while Christine was taking too long to cook dinner. She went at her with an axe and then put her own son's weapon next to her daughter's body to implicate him in the crime. If you've been enjoying the series, then you'll love the whole episode I did on it on my podcast.
What are the things you might find on the dark web? Certainly, things that you are not meant to have access to ordinarily, and some of these things can get you jailed for a lifetime too. You don't want to be found with this item.
The dark web. You may have seen this picture before. Chances are you've even been on the deep web, but not the dark web. But luckily for you, I have. The dark web is not like Google, where you can just search up where you want to go. You have to know exactly where you want to go before you get there. If you're into buying hard to find items, darknet markets are your place to go. You can purchase anything your heart can imagine. Illegal substances, stolen credit cards, even puppies. Despite sounding magnificent, just clicking the wrong link on the dark web can get you arrested and jailed for life. It doesn't matter the excuse. Aside from Silk Road, the dark web's most notorious scandal has been brought by Peter Scully, the most disturbed man in history. Just watching his movie Daisy's Destruction will land you in prison for the rest of your life. You won't be able to find it, but it is the most disturbing piece of video ever created.
Isn't there a famous quote that goes, "Torture is a skill"? Indeed, it just might be. If you look at these torture methods that were designed in medieval times, you'd be left wondering who invented them.
Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Top 3 most painful torture methods. Number 3. Chinese water torture. In Chinese water torture, the victim is placed under a slow, continuous stream of water droplets over a long period of time. Eventually, the slow and repetitive tapping of water on the victim's forehead would be enough to drive anyone completely insane. Number 2. The Judas Cradle. The Spanish Inquisition was known for having many torture devices, and the Judas Cradle was one of the most painful. Also known as the Judas Chair, the victim usually died of infection, as the seat was never cleaned before uses. The victim was placed on the top of a pyramid-shaped seat, with both legs tied together. The chair's point was usually inserted into the anus, stretching the orifice. The victim was then slowly lowered via ropes. The torture might last a few hours, or sometimes a few days. Number 1. Rat torture. Rat torture was popular in both medieval Germany and ancient China. This method, a pot of hungry rats would be placed against the belly of a victim. As the pot was slowly heated, the distressed rats would gnaw through anything in their way.
Pilots are trained to be brave, but even in the face of death, the bravest of men fail. These are some famous last words from pilots on duty.
Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Top 3 pilots' last words caught on the black box.
Here we go. Stop flying! Stop motherfucking flying! Shit, over here! Shit!
Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
Very rough target.
Pull up.
Control with the bigger rock.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
Things are not always as they seem, and we are about to find out why results came clear of food poisoning in these men's systems even though they died while eating.
On August 3, 2017, the bodies of a 69-year-old man and a 38-year-old man were found by a neighbor. The two of them seemed to have died while enjoying dinner together. When first investigating, police assumed they must have died of food poisoning. But when the toxicology report came back clear, that theory was thrown out the window. From there, it quickly turned into a homicide case, but who killed these two men and why? Police found no signs of forced entry and had no reason to believe that anyone would want them dead. After some time passed, doctors were finally able to determine what the cause of death was, and it wasn't at all what anyone was thinking. During their dinner together, the 69-year-old man bit off more than he could chew and began choking on a piece of steak. He could have easily been saved by the 38-year-old man, except for the fact that he was too busy dying from a heart attack that was triggered by seeing his lifelong friend slowly choking to death on a piece of steak.
Sometimes you think a person has been kidnapped, but no, the person chooses to disappear. Well, this is the case of Sherry Papini and how her kidnapping went wrong.
Gone girl, gone wrong. This is the case of Sherry Papini. On November 2nd, 2016, 34-year-old Sherry Papini, a wife and mom of 2 kids, vanished in broad daylight. It seemed to have been an abduction while she was out on a run near her home in Redding, California. Her family, police, and community searched everywhere. Her husband tracked her phone via Find a Phone app and found it on the side of a road with strands of her hair. They feared the worst. Missing signs, searches, California and the states surrounding it were being searched high and low for Sherry. This was major media attention. That was until Thanksgiving Day, November 24th, 3 weeks after she had gone missing. Sherry reappeared on the side of a highway. She's seen here on video footage. She was found with a bag over her head, a broken nose, hair cut off, and was chained at the waist and wrists 140 miles away from her home. She had also been branded on her right shoulder. Sherry said she was kidnapped by 2 Hispanic women with a handgun and a dark-colored SUV, even going into detail about their appearance for a police sketch. She said she suffered reported beatings while being held captive. When police asked her what the kidnapper's motive was or why they released her, she didn't know. Sherry's husband and family were relieved that she was home, but law enforcement began having doubts about her uncorroborated kidnapping. One day, the sheriff's office received a phone call from a man who told them that Sherry was actually with him the entire 22-day period she was supposedly being held captive. He said, basically, that it was a hoax. This man was supposedly an ex-boyfriend of hers. According to the DOJ, evidence found that Sherry fabricated the entire ordeal, even going as far to harming herself to make her story more believable. On March 3, 2022, Sherry was arrested on charges of making false statements to federal law enforcement officers and mail fraud. To make things even worse, from 2017 to 2021, Sherry received $300,000 from the California Victims' Compensation Board. Sherry is now in custody and is considered a flight risk. What do we think?
Forget about space. There's a place that defies gravity on Earth. It's a place where cars parked go uphill instead of downhill.
Haunted Places in Every U.S. State, Part 9, Florida. The gravity-defying Spook Hill. The phenomenon that happens at Spook Hill is real. Cars that are parked in neutral will appear to roll uphill. Legend says that the hill is either the site of a Native American burial ground or an epic battle of a Native American chief against a crocodile. But the truth is actually that it's just an illusion created by the hill's surroundings. While the cars appear to be rolling uphill, they are still just rolling downhill. Now, if you ask me, that sounds like a very lazy way to explain the phenomenon. Perhaps there are some secrets there that the local government would like to keep hidden. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.
While this might not be a story of a bad ghost, it is still creepy all the way. This is the story of Mr. Chu and why he haunts the people of Delaware.
Haunted Places in Every U.S. State, Part 8, Delaware. The Ghost of Mr. Chu. While not a particularly mean-spirited ghost, Samuel Chu's story is still unsettling. Chu was the Chief Justice of the Delaware Supreme Court in 1741. As the story goes, when he was alive, he didn't always get the respect he deserved. People frequently made fun of his name by mimicking sneezes while he walked by. After his death, people reported seeing his ghost sitting under a popular tree, wandering the courthouse, and generally creeping out the residents of Dover. Chu was also known to pull on men's coattails and give women an icy, cold feeling. Honestly, well deserved if you ask me. They should have left him alone and stopped bullying him. And now, he got the last laugh. Achoo!
Ever seen what the inside of a shark looks like? No? This video shows you what to expect if you ever end up inside the belly of a shark.
These are videos humans were never meant to see, part 20.
Okay, so we all know how dangerous and scary sharks are. But I guarantee none of you ever seen a shark eat a camera and then see what the inside of a shark looks like. The video I'm about to show you shows a shark eating a camera, and you get to see what the inside of a shark looks like. This video is absolutely mind-blowing.
So, which of these videos did you find the most entertaining? Let us know in the comments section.